Hey Tina, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I am fabulous. How are you going today?
I'm doing just fine. And like I mentioned earlier, thank you so very much for being here. I truly appreciate it. And you see, oftentimes, Tina, I love to thank my guest for two main things. And I do this so often because I feel like it is important. So firstly, Tina, I want to thank you for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, Tina, some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it. But you see, just recently I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. You see, the mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the urge to move so close to the tree, of which I did, and it wowed me because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it and beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. It was a beautiful moment that day. I was so excited. And not just mangoes, but ripe mangoes. They look so beautiful. Now, here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Tina that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to say no to you. Getting to read a little bit about you, your insights, your philosophies, the things that you do, and the impact it is having. Oh, Tina, that's amazing. And I just couldn't wait for this day to come, you see, because I love to learn from folks who've got something here, you see. So thank you so very much, Tina, for being here. I tell you, it means a whole lot. Thank you so very much. I truly appreciate that. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. I'm really looking forward to having a chat with you today. I love your energy. I love your whole vibe. It's beautiful. So I'm
Thank
looking
you.
forward to this conversation.
Me too. Okay, let's get started. You see, Tina, I'm quite excited to have you on the show today for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, I believe it takes the application of knowledge. Not just knowledge, but the application of it. And you see, Tina, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very, very important to me and even to the listeners. The second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Tina on the show is for the sake of the listeners. You see, Tina, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, high-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Tina, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey. We are just so curious right now. We want to know how Tina got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some really beautiful questions for you. Okay, Tina, over to you.
Well, okay, so I'll start with how did I get to where I am now? Well, I've been online since online was a thing. And I started off doing many things, I was a graphic designer, a web designer, and I've been very, very lucky that I've been able to be online for nearly 30 years now. And what I've realized in this time is that one of the biggest things that people need to do is they need to give themselves permission to explore all these exciting things that we have happening in the world today. We have these abilities for people to be able to work from home. We have this ability for us to be able to communicate like you and I are doing here right now. So that is one of my biggest joys in life, is being able to have conversations with amazing people and talk about important issues, like, as I said, with self-permission and being online and understanding that if we don't learn about how we should put ourselves first and how we should be important in our own lives, how do we, help other people and be the best that we can be?
That's amazing. And you just made use of one of my favorite words, help. You see, folks who are intentionally helping others, I count them as a very, very great asset to planet Earth. Because not many people would stand up to help others genuinely. And getting to listen to you now, I can see how passionate you are about helping others. So that's a beautiful one. So let's pick the first question from, let's talk about what does it mean to live on autopilot and how can women break free from it? You got it?
Yes. So to live on autopilot, to me, that means is, when you respond to things, you don't even think about it. For example, say somebody asked me to, do something for them tomorrow, right? And I've just went, yeah, yeah, no problems. And then afterwards I went, hang on a sec, I didn't really want to do that. Oh, I've just, I've done it in a way where I didn't even think. That's what autopilot is. We all say yes, we all say no, we all agree to things because societally, especially as women, we tend to not want to make waves. We want to make everybody happy. We want to feel valuable. But when you're doing an autopilot, you're not really as valuable as you could be because you have a little bit of, I didn't really want to do that. Or actually, I do want to do it, but I would like to have thought about it a bit more before I decided if I wanted to do it. So that's what the autopilot is it's that unconscious agreeing or disagreeing or just doing something without thinking. And it can cause a lot of stress in your life because every time you do that, there's another little bit of weight of pressure of something that you didn't want that you're carrying, and another lot and another lot. And over time, it starts to become resentment. And it also sometimes becomes obligation. I'm doing this because I'm expected to do that. And if we can turn that autopilot into conscious responses, we can then allow ourselves to actually make those decisions consciously, which means, if you say to me, hey, can you do something for me tomorrow? And I pause and go, yes, I can. I've made that conscious pause and I've made a conscious choice to help you. Or I could be, no, I can't. But because I'm now off autopilot, I'm making that, and then I feel good about it, and then I can give more, whichever choice I decide to make, because I've given it to you consciously, and I'm excited to have this conversation or do this task with you. And that's what autopilot is just accepting what's out there and doing it without thinking.
Amazing. You see, one thing I've got to give you credit for is you know how to explain something in such a way that folks will understand. Yeah, even little kids now, they get it. Yeah, I get what Tim is saying. I got it, I got it. And you see, I used to be in that category way back when I was younger. They say there's this uncle of mine, I respect him so much, and whatever he tells me to do, I wouldn't even have that conscious thinking, taking the moment to think about the consequences and all. I'll just go like, okay, sir, right away, sir. Then after it's done, I discovered that I was always having this, this negative feeling. Oh boy, I didn't even think about that. Now I'm stuck in the consequences, you see. And I'm glad that you explained it that way. That's a beautiful word. So let's talk about some of the common invisible rules that keep women stuck. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, well, some of the common invisible rules are that we're expected to be good girls, do the right thing. Like even from when you're young as a girl, as a guy, you're allowed to go and run around and be, a bit more louder, a little bit more crazy. But as a girl, you're meant to be cute, sit quietly, be a bit more controlled. Oh, what a good girl, you're sitting quietly. What a good girl. So you're programmed right from the beginning. I remember as a young girl being very much a tomboy. I was climbing the trees. I was doing all the things that I thought I should do. And I must have heard it so many times. Oh, you'll grow out of that. It's just a phase. And I think this is what we're being conditioned to do, is think that if we're not being quiet and compliant, we're not being valuable. And I'm going to use the word valuable a lot of times because to me, value is both give and take. If you value me like you're valuing me in this conversation, we both win. But if you don't value me and I don't value myself, well, then we both lose. And that's, that's the problem. And that's those invisible rules of being a good girl, of being available, of not making waves, of saying yes when you really want to just scream no, and that's sort of where the whole thing kind of unravels a little bit, because as you get older, you get more and more frustrated, but you don't know what you're doing wrong because you've been so conditioned to do it that you go and read all the self-help books, you go read all of the rest of it, and a little bit of here works, a little bit of there works, but really and truly, all it is that you haven't given yourself permission to acknowledge that you come first. And when you do that, you can help so many other people because you now have your own personal strength and you're working from that personal strength instead of the exhaustion that you had before.
Amazing. You see, it feels so good to sit and listen to someone who understands these things. You see, you're taking it back to the roots now, and that's a beautiful one. So I'm a bit curious. Can you give us some, background about you? I was growing up like.
It was pretty good for me. I mean, it was just sort of standard. I mean, my generation, we were lucky. We were allowed to do a lot of things that my mum couldn't do. I joined the army at 18, which wasn't common, but so I've always kind of done my own thing anyway, whether I should or I shouldn't. So,
Wow, amazing. That's a great one. Okay, let us talk about how can putting yourself first actually make you a better giver. Do you get it? That's amazing. And that's a great perspective. I never thought about it that way. Okay. So what is that one simple mindset shift that helps women take control of their choices? You can let it go. Got that. And I'm definitely taking that as a final thought. Okay, so to bring this to an end, Tina, for folks who like to reach out to you, ask questions, or even learn some certain things from you, how can that be possible? Perfect. So that's going to be the end of the show, Tina. Thank you so very much for being here. And thank you for opening our eyes to these beautiful stuff that you've been saying since. It means a whole lot. Thank you.